Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Salas. Today's a special episode. I'm calling it the Pass It Around review on the Supernova. Now, I had the privilege of designing this model with Duke Aipa, and it's part of my dream quiver. Our focus is the performance groveler category, and I want you to think small waves, like head high and below. We want to surf lightning fast, so that it has a performance fish rocker, and what puts it in the performance category is the performance outline. Think tight arcing turns. You want to surf fast down the line, and you don't want to sacrifice performance in the pocket. Now, Duke and I already did the first episode letting the surf community into our process on the 2 years that it took to develop this model. We talked about board attributes, the struggles, and the breakthroughs. Now, I encourage you to watch that one, but this episode is I got a handful of surfers to get on a Supernova, give us some feedback and some different waves. I think you're gonna love this. Sit back, get your favorite drink, enjoy the show.
What's up? Sage Guinaldo here. Gonna give you my take on the Supernova, the Aipa and Noel Salas collab board. The board itself's got a very wide nose and wide tail with very little entry and exit rocker, making it able to glide across the flat sections very easily, which I found it did. I took it out to 1 to 2 foot lowers, which that board was perfect for that day. The flat wave that lowers offered was perfect for the Supernova. I found that as soon as I took off, the speed was there. I had to do very little to generate speed, which I personally really enjoyed and had a lot of fun on. The double concave out the tail, for me personally, I really enjoyed it because it was very easy to go from my toe edge to my heel edge and pivot, if you will. Mine was a 5-fin setup, but I did ride it as a thruster. I put in the large DHD fins in. I found it to turn on a dime. Really enjoyed it. It had a lot of drive with a lot of looseness out the tail. Being above average to advanced surfer myself, I found it very easy to throw airs on it. Mine was epoxy with the stringer, so maybe the buoyancy had something to do with it, or I know it did. Yeah, overall that board is super fun. Gosh, if I was forced to surf small waves as we do on the QS, like Virginia and North Carolina, that might be the board of choice for me because it made surfing small waves super fun and enjoyable at a high performance. Yeah, super stoked on this collab with Noel and Duke, and yeah, overall it's a really good board.
So Asa, we're on Supernova. This is XTR10. You've been exclusively riding the stringered EPS epoxy. Haven't been able to pry that board back out of your hands. Why don't you tell us about that board and how it's been feeling and what fin setups you've been running?
Okay, so yeah, that board has been amazing, to say the least. Just incredibly fast. At the end of the wave, when it's this big, the thing just glides through stuff. It makes sections through flat spots. It's one of the fastest boards I've ridden. Rode it at the surf ranch as well. And it was just too fast, actually. It was so quick there. Had a great time on it, and yeah, I haven't wanted to get off of it.
Yeah, so twin plus trailer, pre-preg carbon, that's the Pivot Twins.
Yep.
You started on that, right?
Uh-huh.
How'd that feel?
Good, really good. Super fun.
Yeah, pivoting quick.
Yep.
Yeah, it had the drive, the squirt. I felt like you got some great waves on that setup. And then Aaron and I were talking about you trying it as a quad. What happened with the quad?
The quad was it tightened it up a little bit, but you could just push so hard on the thing, and it was still so fast off the bottom and off the top. Right. I love it as a quad.
I felt like the Pivot Twin plus trailer for you and myself, when I look at the footage, man, it's getting in the lip quick. It's got everything we wanted to do here at the pool. But with your surfing, I kind of felt like the quad really made you use your rails longer, and it really showed more drive in the board and your surfing. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, that's the way it felt too. I really enjoyed it as a quad.
When I first took this thing out of the box, I was like, man, is it going to work in Florida? Because the nose is real narrow. When I'm laying on it, it almost looks like a shortboard underneath me. And then the tail's really wide. Is it going to pivot and get into the lip? And this thing has really surprised me. I'm loving this board. Not only does it carry good speed down the line in flat and mushy sections, but it's made me want to surf in waves that I otherwise would have never gone out in. It's super fun, and it pivots really well. Even though the tail's wide, this hip that Duke put in there really allows it to pivot and get up in the lip. And I think with this XTR10 construction, it gives me an extra zip in flat sections and coming out of turns. It's nice and rigid, so when I load it up with the bottom turn or with a couple of pumps, when I hit the lip or do a turn, it really flexes and pops. This thing has been awesome. I've ridden it with a couple different sets of fins. So far, my favorite set is Noel's Pivot 2+1 carbon set. I also tried it with the Aquila Aipa twins with the T1 trailer. I really like that. And at the pool, I rode the stringered epoxy prototype with the Aquila Aipa 2+1 set with the larger Black Sticks trailer in the back, just to stiffen it, or just to tighten it up a little bit, because those waves are a little more punchy than the waves here in Florida. Overall, this board's a winner. It's awesome and it flies.
My homeboy Zack Smith.
Yes, no.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. Supernova, 3 hours in the pool. How'd it feel? What do you got to say?
It's a very quick board, very fun board. The more time that I spent on it, the more that I liked it. You know, I'm a creature of habit. I really like to ride the boards until they die, and so I don't jump around quite as much as you guys do, but you know, towards the end I was flowing, had some great snaps off the top, easy release, easy transition down into the next one, speed on demand. I want to surf it more.
Nice. Yeah, I saw you connect some turns, and from the back I saw a lot of tail being thrown. I saw a lot of flow from turn to turn, and I feel like that's the kind of stuff, when I want to ride a board, these are the things I'm looking for. You know, is it spicy? Does it have the speed? Does it have the flair? You know, able to get that release with not much effort, you know?
It checks a lot of boxes.
Right.
Especially in that category. Yeah, it was
excellent.
Yeah, loved the board.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Joel.
Hey guys, what's going on? Super excited to be doing this review with Noel from Surf and Show. Stoked to try this board. It is the Supernova, which is the collaboration with Noel and Duke Aipa. I've ridden a few of Duke's boards, and this one is absolutely going to be one of the fastest boards I've ever ridden. Really stoked on this. What I noticed most about this board is it's it's really got kind of this nice shortboard nose and feel. A good amount of volume up here as far as like under the chest, so it paddled insanely well. Definitely, as far as like out of 10 paddle wise, this was a 9 out of 10. One of the best paddling boards I've ever had, especially for the volume. The dimensions that I'm riding are going to be 5'9", 19.75 or 19.75 by 2.60 and 31.5 liters. I rode this thing as a 2+1 when it was a little bit smaller, and then when it got a little bit bigger into that shoulder high and above range, I rode it as a thruster, and both worked really well. With the 2+1 setup, I noticed this had a ton of great pivot. And just in general, the whole board pivot, but it really wanted to shoot me up really quickly towards the lip, in which I had to actually modify for and do my turns a little bit more quickly, because it had so much speed that I was coming around sections and getting shot up towards the lip, and really had to snap that back quick. But really good rail to rail. I really felt like this board was able to transition extremely well. A lot of Duke's boards that I've ridden had that sort of feel, but this thing had the speed that was out of control on top of that really good rail-to-rail feel. And even on rail, while this board is a little bit shorter than I typically ride, on rail this thing was able to really hold. I got it into some overhead waves and really noticed that this thing was able to hold rail and not slide out on my carves. I was able to push this thing hard off the lip and get a lot of release, which I loved. So I do have to make a comment on the technology that this board was made in. It's the XTR, with a flex value of 5. But with the XTR, I can say that this is one of the most durable boards I've ever ridden, as far as I really typically have a very heavy front foot, and I usually put a large pressure ding in pretty much all my boards within maybe 3 to 4 sessions. I have this nice big pressure ding from my right heel, and with this board I literally have only the smallest little pressure ding. So as far as the technology goes, the XTR is definitely the way to go if you're looking for durability. I really do feel like this board is absolutely magic in that waist to chest high range when you're looking for a lot of speed. I know Noel rode it in the pool, and I'm sure he had a blast on this because pockety, you know, chest high waves, I think this board is absolutely magic in.
Now, I love having all the other surfers on the show at their home breaks putting Supernova through the paces. I hear a few things consistently across the board is everybody's talking about its speed. We're all talking about its pivot, the ability to put it on rail and have the drive, and most important for me is the flow. Now with Waco Surf being my new home break, turns can get repetitive. I'm always trying to perfect my technique. However, this board's doing everything super fast. So fast that I'm able to be a little bit more creative, and I'm trying to do maneuvers that I don't normally do. So on the right, to go down the line, get one quick turn and then turn it into a roundhouse and spin a reverse on the rebound. It is about the speed. It is about the agility to get this board to pivot that fast in a tight transition. You guys ask me all the time, if I were to practice airs, what board would it be on? Supernova's carrying that kind of speed. Get on a board that helps you be creative, and it'll make you have a lot more fun surfing head high and smaller waves. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's surfboard review on the Supernova. Special shout out thanks to Duke Aipa and all the surfers helping me put this board through the paces. Look, if you like the show, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and give us a thumbs up if you like our content. Until next time, we'll see you in the water. Bye-bye.